Good evening. Thank you for all your efforts today. Tonight, I would like to quietly reflect on the idea of time. In our daily lives, we naturally feel that time is flowing, and yet the past no longer exists, and the future has not yet arrived. Only this present moment truly exists. There was a philosopher who thought this way. Or perhaps time itself does not really exist. There are physicists who explore that possibility as well. Tonight, let us set out on a quietly journey through the mystery of time. Breathe in and breathe out. We live our lives by looking at clocks every day. We wake up to alarm clocks in the morning. At school or at work, we follow schedules and deadlines. When it is time for an appointment, we head to a meeting place, and at night we usually go to sleep at around the same time. One day has 24 hours. 1 hour has 60 minutes. 1 minute has 60 seconds. These units of time feel natural and universal. But what exactly is time? There have been many different ideas about time throughout history. Tonight, let's explore some of them together. Breathe in and breathe out. In the 4th century BCE, Aristotle wrote about time in his work, Physics. He believed that time is not sometimes that exists on its own and flows independently. Instead, he thought that time can only be understood through change. When things move from one place to another, or when their qualities change, we recognize a sequence of before and after. According to Aristotle, counting this order of change is what we call time. Centuries later, in the 4th century CE, the Christian philosopher Augustine offered a different perspective. He suggested that the past no longer exists and the future does not yet exist. If we look at the world objectively, perhaps only the present truly exists. The present of the past is memory. The present of the present is attention and awareness. The present of the future is expectation. Augustine believed that time is not simply sometimes following outside us. Rather, it is shaped by the human mind. As we remember the past and anticipate the future. Breathe in and breathe out. In the 17th century, Isaac Newton proposed a very different idea. He believed that time is an absolute container that flows at a constant rate everywhere in the universe, completely independent of human perception of physical matter. He called this concept absolute time. The clocks we use in daily life may contain small errors, but Newton believed that behind them all, there exists a true and perfectly uniform time. In the 20th century, Albert Einstein introduced the theory of relativity. As a result, the idea of absolute time was reconsidered. A new view emerged. Time can stretch and shrink depending on motion and gravity. In his special theory of relativity, published in 1905, Einstein proposed that time pass more slowly for objects moving at very high speeds. The closer an object comes to the speed of light, the greater this effect becomes. In fact, the clock of a person riding a high-speed train runs very slightly slower than the clock of someone standing still. In 1915, Einstein's general theory of relativity offered another remarkable idea. Gravity was no longer seen simply as a force. Instead, it became understood as a curvature of space and time caused by mass. For example, a clock on Earth's surface, where gravity is stronger, runs slightly slower than a clock on a mountain ship or in space. Einstein also proposed that space and time are woven together into a single fabric known as space-time. The presence of matter bends this fabric, changing the way time itself flows. Today, these ideas are not merely theories. They are used every day in technologies such as GPS. Breathe in and breathe out. In Einstein's view, time flows continuously and smoothly. In a microscopic world studied by quantum physics, however, some theories suggest that there may be a smaller, meaningful unit of time known as Planck time. These theories imagine the universe in terms of incredibly tiny intervals, far beyond anything we can directly experience. Another question naturally flows. Why does time seem to move only toward the future? The branch of science that explores this mystery is thermodynamics. The equations of relativity often work equally well whether time moves forward or backward. Yet in nature, many processes seem to move in only one direction. This is known as irreversibility. When milk is poured into coffee, the two naturally mix together. But if we simply wait, they do not separate on their own. This tendency can be described through entropy, a measure of increasing disorder. Some modern physics believed that the direction of time may be deeply connected to the increase of entropy throughout the universe. One candidate for a theory that could unite relativity and quantum physics is called loop quantum gravity. Within this framework, some researchers suggest that time may not exist as a fundamental dimension of reality. Instead, time may emerge from the countless relationships among quantum particles. In this view, time is not part of the universe's foundation. It is something that appears when complex relationships are observed from a larger perspective. Since the 2010 centuries, another intriguing idea has gained attention. Some physics proposed that time itself may emerge from quantum entanglement. When particles become deeply connected through entanglement, changes in those relationships may give rise to what we experience as the passage of time. Researchers continue to explore these possibilities through thought experiments, mathematical models, and ongoing investigations. Breathe in and breathe out. In physics, there is a concept known as proper time. Every object in the universe, you, me, the Earth, satellites, and even tiny particles moving through space, experiences its own passage of time. According to this idea, the flow of time depends on an object's speed and the strength of the gravity surrounding it. In this view, there is no single universal flow of time, shared by everything in the cosmos. Instead, each object flows its own proper time. Human beings also experience time in ways that differ from physical clocks. Our sense of time expands and contracts through memory, emotion, and attention. This is often called psychological time. We also have a biological clock closely linked to the Earth's daily cycle. The circadian rhythms is a biological clock that repeats roughly every 24 hours. Within our bodies, the brain and many other systems work together to maintain regular daily rhythms. Deep within the brain is a small group of nerve cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This structure acts as a master clock, helping to maintain our daily rhythm. The human body clock is not only synchronized with Earth's 24-hour day. Left completely alone, it slowly drifts. Each morning, sunlight helps reset this clock. Light influences the production of melatonin, a hormone related to sleep, allowing the body to stay aligned with the day-night cycle. The body also contains many smaller clocks. Cells in the stomach, liver, skin, and other organs maintain their own rhythms. These peripheral clocks are influenced by signals such as meals, and they work together with the master clock in the brain. Breathe in and breathe out. A well-known idea called Janet's Law was introduced in 19th century France. It suggests that for a 5-year-old child, 1 year represents 1/5 of a lifetime. For a 50-year-old adult, 1 year represents only 1/50th. Modern psychology offers a similar observation. Children often encounter new experiences every day. Adults, on the other hand, tend to live within familiar patterns because the brain becomes more efficient at processing repeated experiences. A year may feel as though it passes much more quickly as we grow older. Interestingly, our experience of time can differ depending on whether we are living through a moment or remembering it later. When we are fully engaged in something enjoyable, we often lose track of time. The experience seems to pass quickly. Yet, when we look back, those moments may feel rich, meaningful, and surprisingly long. The opposite can also happen. During a boring time or uncomfortable experience, we may repeatedly check the clock and wonder when it will end. Time feels slow. Yet later, when we remember it, it may seem as though almost no time passed at all. Our heartbeat, body temperature, and emotional state can also influence our perception of time. Some researchers have proposed that the brain contains an internal timing mechanism, sometimes described as a pulse. When body temperature rises during childhood, exercise, or fever, this internal pulse may speed up. As a result, the outside world may appear to move more slowly, making time feel longer. During moments of fear or danger, people sometimes experience something known as tachypsychia. The world may seem to move in slow motion. One explanation suggests that the brain rapidly increases the amount of information it processes in order to respond to a threat. This can create the feeling that time itself has expanded. About 1600 years ago, Augustine suggested that time is deeply connected to memory, attention, and expectation. Modern neuroscience often brings his insight to mind. Breathe in and breathe out. If adults wish to experience time more fully, one possible approach is to engage the brain and the senses more deeply. New experiences can be especially powerful. When we try something for the first time, the brain must process this unfamiliar information. Later, when we look back, those experiences may make a period of life feel longer and richer. It may also help to avoid multitasking whenever possible, rather than looking at a phone while eating, or listening to music while focusing on something else. We can give our full attention to a single experience. Perhaps a glass of wine carries hints of berries and gentle tannins. Perhaps a landscape reveals details we had never noticed before. Putting sensory experiences into words, keeping photographs, or writing a journal may help organize memories and make them easier to retain. As a result, our memories can become richer and more detailed. Mindfulness meditation offers another interesting possibility. By bringing attention to the present moment, many people report that time feels slower and more spacious. When worries about the past or the future arise, gently returning attention to breathing and physical sensations can make each moment feel more vivid. Stress and anxiety often create a sense of time pressure. Everything seems rushed. Mindfulness is believed to help calm the brain's fear-related systems, allowing a greater sense of ease and spaciousness. Some studies have also reported changes in brain regions related to attention among people who practice meditation regularly. As awareness becomes more refined, the world may appear richer in detail. And as a result, daily life itself may feel fuller and more meaningful. Without intention, about life can seem to pass by in an instant. Yet by understanding some of these mechanisms, we may discover new ways to enrich our everyday experience of time. Breathe in and breathe out. We have traveled through many different ideas of time. Aristotle's time as change, Augustine's time shaped by the human mind, Newton's absolute time, Einstein's time, which slows with motion and strong gravity, the arrow of time described through entropy, the possibility that time emerges through quantum relationships, the proper time of every object in the universe, psychological time, biological time, and even practical ways to experience time more deeply. There are many other forms of time as well. The long polar days and nights of Uranus, which can last for decades. The flow of music, weaving together past, present, and future through sound. The rings of an ancient tree holding a record of years gone by. The aging of wine and miso, transforming through time and increasing complexity. The growth of children, the changing of the seasons. What is time? Perhaps there is no single answer. Perhaps there are many. And perhaps we are free to choose the understanding of time that feels meaningful to us in each moment. Breathe in and breathe out. time may seem to pass in an instant, or it may quietly accumulate within our memories and experiences. Even now, the world continues to change, quietly and gently. A calm heartbeat, a steady breath. Simply notice them and allow yourself to drift peacefully into sleep. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out.